I really joined the Army because I wanted a better opportunity for my family. I want to do something big. I want to do something meaningful. I deployed in 2011 to Coast Province, Afghanistan. We were there for the entire year of 2011. We learned quickly that we need to be very offensive. Along with that, you have to go and do things that are awful, that are horrible. And you don't necessarily do them, but you're part of them. You witness them. They happen. Just shut off feelings, emotions, caring. And that's what makes it difficult when you come home, because you never processed it. You just buried it. It's absolutely buried, all of it.
Derek didn't come home from Afghanistan. A soldier came home from Afghanistan. We couldn't even go to Walmart without him guarding my cart. Like, I'd be talking to him, and he had to constantly be watching what every move somebody made. He was like on edge. Anytime a car would drive past our house, he would be up and seeing who it was. He tried to control every situation that he was in, and if he couldn't control it, he didn't want to be in it.
I mean, you go from being, a sergeant in the Army who's a sniper to Derek. That's extremely difficult. That, and then all the things that you have never processed, they start coming back, they start affecting you, you don't even realize it. The symptoms that I couldn't tie to anything were in control of my life. I think when you get into the place that I had gotten to, and that so many people get to, is that you think you're alone and you think this is the rest of your life. And when you think it's the rest of your life, that's defeating.
They don't train them on how to deal with the consequences of the war. So I guess it was time to find somebody or something that was trained to help fight that war. And that was Emory for us.
It's hard to imagine this, but a person with PTSD really feels like the whole world is a danger zone. And as you can imagine, that's a tough way to live, and it can feel really hopeless. Hopelessness is a risk factor for suicide. I remember when he first came in for his intake assessment, and he was extremely anxious, extremely uncomfortable with the idea of treatment, and particularly with the idea of having to talk about what he had experienced.
The hardest thing you'll ever do in your life is sit in a chair with your eyes closed and talk through the event. The horrible things that happened and the horrible things that we went through and that we saw other people go through. Through the program at Emory and the prolonged exposure therapy, I was able to get to that breakthrough. I was able to process it, and I was able to put them together. And I've been able to grow substantially since then.
Treatment works, and that, I think, is the biggest misconception about PTSD. People are resilient, they just need the help, and we have the help. The money from your donation is going to the treatment of folks like Derek who are going to come to us for help with their PTSD.
You could do anything with your life, and from the programs like Blue Angels Foundation to dedicate their lives to people like me, that's absolutely amazing.
I want the people to know that giving to the Blue Angels Foundation doesn't only help the vet that they're giving the money to, it also helps the families of the vets, and it's made a huge difference. Huge.
My wife, Samantha, she's been taking care of me for a long time. And I think I'm finally in a place now where I can take care of her and not so much worry about me. And that feels awesome.
I joined the Navy. Honestly, my dad was in the Air Force. My sister was in the Army. My ex-brother-in-law was in the Air Force. My great uncle was a Marine Corps officer during Vietnam. I thought it was the right thing to do to a country that's given me everything. I became a corpsman, and ultimately the best part of my career was being with the Marines. The Marines that I served with, the Marines I was able to help, and the Marines that I deployed with. I knew the realism. I knew what war does. Unfortunately, not everybody comes home. First time I was injured was in Iraq. I just remember seeing these eyes that were pure hatred. Came in and detonated herself as a suicide bomber. Fortunately, 2 of my Marines didn't make it. I ended up with a concussion. The second time I was injured was in Afghanistan. The first vehicle, I got out and made a rookie mistake. I let emotions get the better of me. So instead of doing a straight beeline toward the casualties, I went behind the vehicle. That's the last thing I remember. Then ended up at Naval Medical Center San Diego as a patient. My physical wounds all healed. When people see me, they see a perfectly able body. What they don't see is all the mistakes, all the carnage that combat does. I was diagnosed with PTSD. I started having nightmares. I started seeing things. I started smelling things. I was super angry. So disappointed that I let everybody down. I didn't get all my Marines home. And when I was in rehabilitation for post-traumatic stress, I had a suicide attempt. Apparently the duty had been doing his job correctly and found my body. They started CPR. And you try to kill yourself and you come so close, but fail. I was like, I can't even do this right.
There's a really big difference between military and civilian life, and some guys really struggle with that, particularly younger guys. Freedom Station is our transitional housing that provides a really high degree of mutual support and camaraderie for transitioning veterans. What we're really trying to do is give them a hand up and not a handout, and get them to full independence as quickly as possible. There's no question that Blue Angel Foundation support in Freedom Station has changed lives and made a real difference over the years.
They gave me the opportunity. They gave me the hope. They gave me the tools and resources to find people like myself, and like my Marines, my Army guys, my Navy guys. And through that, it propelled me with Wolfpack. I'm able to run one of the most successful wheelchair basketball programs in the nation. I'm able to help other veterans that are lost out there. I have 2 amazing daughters, and I want to be the best role model for them. I want my daughters to know that when life gets tough, don't give up. Their daddy almost gave up, and it would have been the biggest mistake I ever made. And I want to show other veterans and other people that, hey, if I can do it, if I can come back, so can they. The Blue Angel Foundation, if they can help a corpsman that was at the end of his ropes and help me move forward, imagine what it does to everybody else. And for that, I will always be grateful.